We're joined from Cairo by the former Assistant Foreign Minister, Ambassador Dr. Mohamed Higazy. Thank you for joining us here on Q. Sir, firstly, thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, let's start off by asking, what specific outcomes are expected from the trilateral summit between Egypt, Jordan and France on Gaza?
The visit and the trilateral summit comes in a very critical time where we all are witnessing a humanitarian catastrophe, as it was described in the statement of the Elysee Palace 2 days ago. And I think this trilateral summit will shed light on the humanitarian situation, particularly when President Macron is planned to visit Al Arish port and the area nearby Rafah, where all the humanitarian assistance are standing without any entry. I think the trilateral summit in itself also is a manifestation of the regional and international condemnation of what's happening to the Palestinians in Gaza, and it will definitely push forward the international efforts to deblock this situation, where France will definitely have a very important say worldwide and in Europe in particular. And both President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and King Abdullah II will definitely lead to further condemnation to what is happening in Gaza, at the same time to deblock the compulsory expulsion of the Palestinians as planned by the Israeli and encouraged by the American administration. So I think this visit is very important on regional and international level, where voices has to come from the international partners to showcase and to refuse what has been condemned by the French declaration, as I said, as a humanitarian catastrophe. Definitely, this is a very important and timely visit of both leaders, and I think they will be also an opportunity through the visits of President Macron to the Rafah crossing and the area nearby Al Arish port to showcase that the European Union and France in particular has a very important role to play, where also President Macron will meet with the observation French security troops or contingent that is there to support the safeguarding of the border and to control Rafah crossing in a given moment. I think this is the regional and international part pertaining to Gaza, but a bilateral talks will also be conducted between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and President Macron, where the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of the Armed Forces, French Armed Forces, Economy, Health, Transport and Scientific Research will accompany the President, who will also meet tomorrow in Cairo University, where he will address the audience, and he will meet the French and Egyptian universities in one of a showcase of the French interest in keeping the relations on the cultural level.
Obviously, Mr. Ambassador, you talked about the idea of, the importance of the declarations by the French. But what long-term solutions or agreements are likely to be proposed during this summit? And since the French are part of the EU, do you think that they could somehow sway other European countries into, trying to pressure the Israeli side towards a ceasefire?
Of course, the role of France and the European Union and the international parties are very important to further pressure Israel. We witnessed or we listened to the British statement before yesterday when they decided to embargo the sales of arms to Israel. And I think a manifestation, a political manifestation like this trilateral summit and the visit of President Macron, and I'm sure the speech he will give tomorrow at Cairo University will be a highlight of the international community refusal of what is going on, and definitely the current situation, which has been condemned by the French statement on Thursday, will further get to the ear of those who doesn't want to listen that we are facing a humanitarian catastrophe and we are facing an ethnic cleansing, full crime, complete and full crime of ethnic cleansing that has to be stopped by the unity of international voices and who else than the French can lead the European position.
This, Mr. Ambassador, you talked about something very important here about the idea of, pushing the ideas of, this has to stop at some point because it goes against every international law. Now, a lot of regional and international organizations have condemned the actions of the Israelis and have asked, for a ceasefire to take place, in addition to, arrest warrants against certain members of the Israeli government and so forth. What role could these organizations play in supporting the summit's goals? And will they be helpful, or will they fall on deaf ears as it has been for the last 17 months?
Well, I think pressuring the situation from an international and regional point of view is so important. But we have also to highlight that the International Court of Justice did not meet since May 2014. It means that the ICJ has to be invited to revisit the measures that the preventive measures that has to be implemented, and they cannot stay in absence for almost half a year now, or more than 8 months, without any comments on the situation. The International Court of Justice has an obligation, and I think the pressure its ruling will constitute a position that will help easing the situation and forcing the Israelis and the Americans to reconsider the carnage that they are committing in Gaza. But the absence of the international community, particularly those who are in charge of the judiciary international system, with the violation of the humanitarian aspect in front of us all, is a mistake that has to be corrected, and the International Court of Justice should be invited to carry on its responsibility.
Okay, well, we're out of time for this segment, but thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. From Cairo, that was a former Assistant Foreign Minister, Ambassador Dr. Mohamed Higazy. Thank you for joining us here on Q News.